WNBA owners Kathy Engelbert appeared to be making some major changes to some of the hate that has been coming toward Caitlin Clark. We got to, you all remember dating back. Let's go back, rewind. Caitlin Clark rookie season, before she even steps into the league, we have a bunch of haters on broadcast teams and platforms. We had Lexi Brown being one of the biggest, most jealous haters on Gil's Arena.
What if all the noise that shadowed every WNBA season suddenly vanished? Imagine tuning in and no longer hearing the bitter complaints, the jealous chatter, the non-stop attempts to bring down Caitlin Clark. That's the reality this season, and fans can't stop talking. Are the networks finally cleaning house? Or is this just the start of a broadcast revolution that could change the way we watch women's basketball forever?
Seems that CBS Sports has announced a new long-term media rights deal with the WNBA. We already knew about that, or that it was going to happen. But they have announced 20 regular season games for the 2026 season. And with that, they've also announced everybody that is going to be involved with that broadcast. And my God, for whatever reason, these networks still cannot get it right.
The WNBA has quietly done what feels both bold and long overdue, cutting the most toxic voices from the broadcast booth. Fans didn't see it coming until the scoreboard flashed and the silence at the mic hit like a perfect buzzer beater.
Give you a small round of applause. It looks like Kathy Engelbert and WNBA are starting to make some better decisions. Being that this league has been an absolute debacle since Caitlin Clark stepped into it, because they were ridiculously unprepared for the stardom and the fandom that she would bring along. How are you unprepared? How are you unaware of what is coming to the league?
For years, airwaves were ruled by commentators who treated every Caitlin Clark highlight like she'd stolen their car keys and slapped a parking ticket on the windshield. Now, the league seems to have had a wake-up call. Maybe fans don't actually enjoy jealousy masquerading as analysis. Maybe they aren't here for halftime rants that read like bitter diary entries from someone forced to watch women's basketball on the wrong side of the equator.
I got an honest question. Let's say the person that we're talking about is not Caitlin Clark, it's your daughter. And somebody comes up to you and says, she hasn't even won a high school championship. As you witnessed her win an AAU state championship, and you've seen her win a world championship, you've seen her win 3 Big Ten championships in a row, then win back-to-back Final Fours with the odds stacked against her.
In a quietly defined boardroom stacked with coffee cups and strategy charts, WNBA owners set a simple rule for the new season: less bitterness, more basketball. It's the kind of corporate speak that might make you roll your eyes, if you weren't secretly excited that it just might work.
Not everybody likes Caitlin Clark. And to be honest, I can somewhat understand why that is, in some cases. But I also think a lot of people are missing what's actually happening when they talk about her. Okay? So let me break this down, and before I do that, let me dive a little deeper, all right? Let me acknowledge one thing, that this is not about choosing a side of who's the best player, who's the greatest player, or who's the GOAT, or anything like that. It's really about the game.
For years, fans have mastered the precision mute swipe, waiting for the moment a broadcast melted down over Caitlin Clark, taking that shot just to prove us wrong. It was exhausting, repetitive. Halftime felt longer than staring at drying paint in a silent monastery. No one wants a soundtrack of resentment disguised as analysis. Finally, someone in the league noticed, or at least someone with enough clout to change the booth lineup. After noticing ratings looked more like a graph of how often viewers hit mute instead of lifting a beer. Are we entering an era of announcers who understand basketball and no commentary shouldn't feel like therapy for unresolved issues with teenage phenoms? Will future broadcasts come with mandatory joy checks? These questions may be rhetorical, but for fans who've spent too many nights stuck in existential listener mode, they hit hard. Here's hoping the WNBA finally gives us a broadcast that celebrates athleticism instead of torturing it.
One thing about women, they will sever a relationship quick. But the fact that the relationship was severed because there was a difference in opinion, that's unfortunate.
You know, I have a lot of stuff, so I might mispronounce someone. I'm trying to correct it.
Right.
If somebody tries to correct me and I sever a relationship or I'm no longer on speaking terms, we never had a friendship to begin with.
Right.
Caitlin Clark is a polarizing figure. People gravitate towards her. It's okay. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't diminish what Sheryl Swoopes accomplished.
Let's be real. There's been a long parade of commentators whose only talents seem to be proving over and over that they just don't get Caitlin Clark. Watching them dissect a play felt like a sleep-deprived algebra teacher forced into interpretive dance. So what sparked the WNBA's sudden shift? A tidal wave of fan complaints? A secret committee finally admitting love for the game should outweigh bitterness toward its brightest star? Or maybe it hit when fans walked into a sports bar, only to see the bartender hitting mute at halftime to avoid the same recycled grievances. Picture that, a fever game, glasses clinking, cheers rising, debates over the sickest crossover, and yet the broadcast muted. That silence sent a message louder than any rant in a booth ever could. Fans don't want bitterness masquerading as insight. They want basketball celebrated, not dissected with envy.
As a rookie, she got swept in the playoffs, while ignoring the players they claim are better than her. Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, Kelsey Mitchell didn't even make the playoffs as a rookie. Stay with me. Then there was one time in college and one time in the pros where she gets a fair shot. She's playing with Team USA. They are playing with a team with equal talent across the boards and also playing against the same.
And isn't it ironic? The loudest critics of Caitlin Clark, those who seem to get more joy from pointing out flaws than celebrating skill, have finally been shown the door. The universe has a sense of humor, or maybe just a scoreboard. After years of watching analysts twist themselves into pretzels to downplay every highlight, fans are finally getting the broadcast they deserve. Less petty commentary, more play-by-play excitement. But this isn't just about tone, it's a cultural shift. People watch basketball to feel alive, to gasp at a clutch three, to cheer when a defender steals the ball. They don't watch to absorb someone else's grudge. Critique can be sharp, honest, even unkind when necessary. But there's a difference between critique that adds context and critique that reads like a passive-aggressive note on your windshield. The WNBA isn't banning differing opinions, it's banning the commentary that keeps replaying bitterness instead of brilliance.